Medical Sciences, Delhi. Professor Reddy was first Bernard-Lown Visiting Professor of Global Cardiovascular Health at Harvard from 2009 to 13, and it is presently an adjunct professor of Harvard, Emory, Sydney, and Pennsylvania universities. His achievements are more. Dr. Reddy is the first Indian to be elected as an international member of the US National Academy of Medicine. He was president of the World Heart Federation from 2013 to 414. Sir chaired the high-level expert group on universal health coverage constituted by the Planning Commission of India 2010 to 11. He is a member of the Global Panel on Agriculture and Food Systems for Nutrition. Sir has served on several expert panels of the World Health Organization, Indian and international scientific agencies. He is an advisor on health to the state government of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh with a cabinet rank. Professor Reddy has 575 scientific publications in Indian and international journals to his credit. He has published Make Health in India, Reading a Billion Plus, and another book, Pulse to Planet, Long Lifeline of Human Health. Among these several honors received by him are the WHO Director General's Award, the Luther Terry Medical of American Cancer Association for outstanding contribution to global tobacco control, the Queen Elizabeth Medal for Health Promotion, and other prestigious Padma Bhushan, the prestigious civilian award conferred by the President of India. I sincerely welcome Professor K. Srinath Reddy sir to address the gathering. Thank you.
Esteemed Dr. Pratap Reddy Garu, dignitaries on the dais, luminaries in the audience, proud parents, newly minted graduates, winners of various medals and honors, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor to be here as the chief guest at this very sacred ceremony where many of the young aspirants who wanted to enter and enrich the medical profession have now been recognized for their proficiencies and are being rewarded for the rigor of their efforts over the years of medical education. I would like to congratulate also the proud medal winners for having distinguished themselves in various fields. I believe that we need to ensure that we collectively appreciate also the contributions of the teachers who have devoted their time and talent to mold, motivate, and mentor the young aspirant students into accomplished health professionals. And I will do that on behalf of all of us. I believe also that we must ensure that the message of continued learning, which has been given by all the preceding speakers, will continue in terms of your own efforts to acquire further knowledge and skills as you progress in life. William Mayo, who was one of the two co-founders of the Mayo Clinic, said that two objects of medical education are to cure the sick and to advance the science. He missed out on one thing, which is prevention, which has been very well and very eloquently articulated by both Preeta and Sangeeta. And that's where preventive efforts come in and public health comes in. Indeed, clinical medicine and public health, which I've had an opportunity to work in terms of both the fields, are not distinct. They're a continuum. Clinical medicine provides health in retail. Public health provides health in wholesale. But we need to look at it as a continuum and as a joint effort as we move along. But what William Mayo said has been truly realized by this institution. Not only is it training doctors who can cure the sick with great ability, but it is also producing people who can, through their research and the application of research done by others, advance science. And that's also a very important object. And then, of course, to also engage with the people and communities in order to advance population health becomes a very important aspect as well. I have very few messages in this long but lovely evening to give you. First is, knowledge is very multidisciplinary, and it is increasingly becoming so. Whether it is basic sciences or biomedical research, biomedical knowledge, or whether it is clinical medicine, or whether it is public health, there are multiple streams of knowledge that are integrated and they come into play. Even if you look at the recent Nobel Prize for Medicine, the whole area of mRNA vaccines has been enriched by the confluence of multiple basic sciences and their application in clinical trials, and then subsequently their expansion into the public health domain shows very clearly that we do require that confluence of multiple disciplines. So ensure that you're not limited by your adherence only to one discipline, even if you are practicing that with a great deal of proficiency and application. What we need to train in our medical institutions, and I'm sure Apollo has done that, is to create T-shaped individuals where you have a depth of expertise in one area or two areas, but you have the breadth of understanding, exposure, and willingness to work with other disciplines. And when I talk about the need to work with others, I also come to the other message that medicine is a team science, even in clinical care. Gone are the days where a single doctor could be the miraculous saver of lives. That can still happen. But essentially, whether it is the primary care setting or the hospital setting, you have to work with many other team members, other doctors in your specialty, other specialty, with nurses. I have learned so much from the nurses who have taught me from the time I was an intern, even till the time I was the professor of cardiology, from technicians, from physician assistants. So medicine, in order to be practiced well, has to be a team science. You have to shed false hierarchies and ensure that you function very integrally with that appreciation of the contribution by others. Because if you don't, the weakest link in the team will actually affect the performance of what you intend to achieve. You may be the best possible surgeon or the brightest physician, but if your resident or a nurse or a technician goofs up, you're in trouble. So you have to understand that it's a team science, it's a team application, and you have to promote that spirit of working as teams. You have been repeatedly urged today, and rightly so, that you must constantly upgrade your knowledge and skills. In this era of digital health, in the era of several new innovations, and also because the context is changing. When we were medical students, communicable diseases were the most common. Non-communicable diseases were just beginning to rise. By the time I became a postgraduate student, non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular, diabetes, and others started rapidly rising. And now they are the dominant killers and causes of disability. But we have also learned that it will be arrogant to write off infectious diseases. Not only tuberculosis is with us, and a number of other diseases are there, but you see the way the pandemics have come in. And the pandemics have come in not just because there is a microbe that is quite keen on attacking us, but because we have created the conveyor belts for those microbes to move from wildlife into veterinary population and to human habitat. So our understanding of how pandemics come in has really become very important, not only in the context of COVID, but in terms of future pandemics. And with climate change, the context is again changing. As human beings will lie listless and wilting in the heat, mosquitoes will become athletic. They can reach farther and to higher heights to breed in new areas where they never went to. Even now, the malaria, dengue, and chikungunya map of India is expanding. So we are going to be seeing a complexity of challenges because of these new conditions, and of course climate change will bring in many other health challenges as well. So you have to prepare yourself to adapt. You have to become adept at adapting and try and face all the challenges as you move along. And therefore, you have to continue to acquire that new knowledge and hone your skills with greater proficiency, and your skills and knowledge will need constant renewal. But, again, as has been emphasized, there is one thing that is unaltered, one thing that is constant, one thing that's immutable, non-immutable, that's immutable, in the sense that, which is the values. The values remain. So a patient and their family approach you at the time when they're at their most vulnerable. And therefore, the way you deal with them matters a lot. Care, concern, courtesy, compassion, and communication skills matter. Quite often we hear that doctors have been bashed up in hospitals, people have become very violent. There are many reasons for that. The shortage of staff, shortage of equipment, there are a lot of issues that come in. But one of the reasons is that if we do not communicate well with the patient and the patient's family, we do not establish that relationship. It is absolutely important that you acquire those communication skills as well. So, as has been said, the soft touch is also very important. Digital health matters, but digital health is not only with devices, but also with these digits with which you touch the patient and feel the pulse. Now, in terms of the role of a health professional, the role of a health professional is to alleviate as a caregiver, to educate as a teacher, to elucidate as a researcher. And you must actually also focus on getting knowledge of research methodology. Even if you do not do research, you have to apply research done by others in a very discriminating manner. In this era of fake news and preprints, you must not be misguided by knowledge which is incomplete or inaccurate. Therefore, you must be able to get an understanding of published research, the right research methodology, what to apply, when to apply, whom to apply in, and therefore your understanding of research methodology becomes important. So as I said, alleviate as a caregiver, educate as a teacher, elucidate as a researcher, advocate for policies as a public health exponent, or even a clinical exponent, because you're talking about universal health coverage, affordability, the right policies of care, the right kind of health workforce, etc. And finally, if need be, agitate as a concerned citizen. But in leading the rest of your lives, you need good role models, and many of your faculty are excellent role models. But there is no better role model than Dr. Pratap C. Reddy, who has created not only one institution, but has been the architect of a whole healthcare system, right from tertiary care to primary care and medical education, medical research. Almost every aspect of healthcare has been explored and enriched under his leadership. Therefore, that is the kind of exemplary role model that you have, and you're highly privileged to have had that. Again, at the end of a lengthy evening, I'll not labor you with a long speech. As Henry VIII said to his second wife, I shall not keep you long. So I will conclude my speech with